Coming up this week, SeaWorld announces a new attraction, then shakes up their leadership. And budget issues at Shanghai Disneyland may be affecting the U.S. parks. Plus, later, Mary Jo continues her basics drive around the beach communities of Southern California. All that coming up next. From points across California, you're listening to the Disneyland edition of the Diz Unplugged. This is the Diz Unplugged Disneyland edition, episode 551 for the week of February 21st, 2016. The Diz Unplugged Disneyland edition is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel, helping you plan the perfect Disneyland vacation. Visit them on the web at www.dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Hello everyone and welcome to the show. I am your host Tom Bell and I'm joined by my good friends Nancy Johnson.
Hey!
Mary Jo Malautter-Willie.
Hello.
Michael Bowling.
Hey there, hi there, ho there.
Plus our special guests Brian Harkins and Frank Rook.
Hello.
Yay!
Hello.
There we go. Awesome. How was everyone's week?
Awesome.
Good.
It was great.
Mine was great.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to this week.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, I am too. I spent the week in Orlando, which was nice. Got to spend some time with the Orlando team. Got to appear on the Tuesday podcast, which is always fun. Also got to meet up with some listeners and some friends. Met up with Mark, who also is one of our Coasting for Kids folks out in Valley Fair, I believe. He rode there last year, which is cool. Got to meet up with Tina and Marty.
Oh, they're fun.
Yeah, they are fun. And then I got to have meet up with our good friend Steven, who now works out in...
Oh,
yeah.
How's he doing?
Yes. He's loving life out there, so...
He looks happy from his Facebook posts.
Yeah, yep. So very cool that I got to meet up with some friends and I get to hang out in the parks with Kathy Whirling. And so,
Yay.
yeah, that's the...
We love Kathy.
Yeah, that's the fun things to hang out and hang out in her parks. So, anything in housekeeping?
I have a few things, but I'll let everybody else go first.
Real quick, talk about the Divas thing coming up this week.
This week we have our annual Divas weekend. Mm-hmm. We've been getting together since 2008, and I think what's happening is it starts off Wednesday with dinner, and it ends Wednesday, starts with Wednesday at dinner, and then goes through Sunday breakfast, but then there'll be some divas who get there earlier,
right.
Some who get there later, and basically what it is a group of women who leave husbands and children behind, and 18 and above go. Guys have that opportunity if they want to go. But the gals it's an opportunity where we can just go let our hair down and just enjoy grown-up time in the parks and bonding. There have been some true friendships that have developed over the years since we started this. And, shout out goes to Beth Uranga, who's the one, I want to say Beth Uranga, but we call her Beth Uranga, who started the whole thing. She moved out west and put a post on the Diz boards and said, hey, I'm thinking of getting a girls' a weekend together. Who's interested? And ladies just started saying that they wanted to do it, and I think the first year there were 30 of us. This year, I think there's going to be through the whole weekend is like a total of almost 100.
Wow,
who are going, and because it's become so, I don't want to say complex, but because there are a lot of women, we have our meet and greet at the Paradise Pier Ballroom because we've outgrown every other business center and
horrible problem to have.
Yeah, I know, right? So we have a committee that gets together. So next week I'll just do thank yous to all the committees. But we have a committee for the meet and greet. We have a committee for the scavenger hunt that we're going to have on Friday. We have one of our gals, Melody, designs T-shirts. So every year we have a different theme. So they come up with a theme. This year it's Diamonds Are a Diva's Best Friend. Pretty appropriate, I think. And So we'll have some cool T-shirt that will be unveiled at the meet and greet. And on top of all that, this getting together and the friendships and having fun, another listener and one of our Diz friends, Jen Grenold, said, while we have this, why not take the opportunity to let the gals do something, do something, charity worthy. And so she said, she suggested Give Kids the World, and a group just jumped on it. So there's a committee for Give Kids the World, and it's headed by Jen, who not only has spearheaded it, but she's pretty much like done my stuff. So thank you, Jen. But there's also Jill Foster, Ruth, Nancy Kearsley, Dee Dee Nelson, Tracy Rodriguez, Maureen Staltari, and Chris Vettel, and Ruth Lucas. I'll just say her last name too. And this committee, they've done lots to prepare and made sure that everything's done legally through California laws and federal laws. And so far, we've raised, we have a matching grant up to $5,000. So from the online auction, we've raised $2,500 so far. So we're hoping to raise more during the meet and greet itself.
Now, can anybody get in on the auction online?
No, this year they asked that it just be for the Divas.
Okay.
And that's why I also didn't ask for anybody to donate anything, since it was just going to be among them. Because some of it is, they make things that are appropriate just for the Divas, and so it's just for them. But there's one gal who offers a stay at a cabin on a lake. And I think that sold out in 5 minutes or 10 minutes. And so it's incredibly generous people that have donated some of these items. And it's just something that Pete started on that cruise, where he said, let's do the power of 10, right? And people have just taken off, and it gives everybody the opportunity to help others, and I always say it's a week of normalcy for some of these families, with these children who are fighting terminal illnesses. So I just have to give kudos to all the women who participate. And
how much did you raise last year? That was a ton.
Last year we raised $7,100. We raised $7,100. Yeah. So we're hoping to do better this year, and it looks like we're on our way to doing it. But if anybody wants to donate, and just send me an email, and we of course will take any donations. Everything goes to Give Kids the World. So of course there's no overhead on our part. Because we're doing it for the children and their families.
Right. Awesome. Thank you, Mary Jo.
Mm-hmm.
Tony's not here tonight. He is traveling. He usually, if he has reached his destination, he is on the show, but he is on a plane, I think, right now. So,
yeah, it happens.
Unfortunately, he's not here. However, he, I think it was yesterday, the day before, he went commando into Great Wolf Lodge and took a few pictures.
He went commando?
He didn't wear any underwear? Wow.
Something
you really
like that,
go into the details.
TMI.
I didn't double check, but he got us some pictures from Great Wolf Lodge. But also, I wanted to mention that I will be at the grand opening coming up in a couple weeks. So then we'll be able to have more pictures, maybe some videos, some interviews from some of the executives and things like that. So that's coming up like first weekend in March. So, and also I will be at Knott's Berry Farm this Friday to get a tour of the construction for Ghost Rider and for Mrs. Knott's Chicken Dinner Restaurant. So, watch my Twitter feed for pictures from that. If you are not following me on Twitter, there are links on our show notes page to all of our social media outlets. So, head to show notes page for the most recent show, scroll all the way to the bottom, and each of us is listed with our Facebook link and our Twitter link and any other links that we have, such as Periscope. Is anybody? Michael's on Instagram. Anybody else on Instagram?
No.
This very moment, no.
You know what I mean.
I'm on Instagram.
I know. I said Michael's on Instagram.
I thought you said I'm not.
Oh no! I said Michael is on Instagram.
I am.
Okay, good. Yeah,
sorry.
Hello to our friends listening live on Mixlr. If you want to listen to us live every Sunday evening at 7 p.m. Pacific, join us on at mixler.com. It's mixlr.com. You'll find links to that in our show notes page and on our Facebook page. And let's see what else I want to talk about. Be sure you're checking out the Daily Fix every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Wow, Pacific time. I'm still on jet lag. 9 a.m. Pacific time for the 3-4 minutes of today's Disney news. And, of course, all the Orlando shows that are coming out. Mondays is the Dreams Unlimited Travel Show. Tuesday is the Walt Disney World Show. Wednesday is the Trip. I believe this week is the last week of the Trip. And then, of course, Thursday is the Universal Show. And you can check all of those out at our show notes page at www.disunplug.com. Whew, I got it all in there. Okay, cool. Any other housekeeping? Mary Jo, you have something else?
I do.
Okay, go for it.
A couple of things. The February annual pass specials are now in their last week. This past week, Fantasyland was featured, and they did have Roger Rabbit as a special character. And next week, we'll feature Tomorrowland with Baymax.
Nice.
And I did get recipe cards from Michael, and so this week it's the.
Come on.
Well, so I have. I'm trying to see if this is the one. The tres leches cake.
Yum.
Ooh.
And I like what they have here. They have notes on the back, right? So in the note in the back they say that you can add. It says pierce cake with a fork 30 to 40 times, whisk together remaining 3/4 cup milk, blah blah blah. Add sweetened condensed milk, a cup of heavy cream, and rum, which is optional. So I thought you might like that, Michael.
Oh, sounds good.
So you add the rum. And then the other one is rainbow sprinkle whoopie pies.
So you can make whoopie from that recipe.
You can. It's kind of making me think of those, the ice cream that the unicorns make, but we won't talk about that.
I was reading somewhere that was it last week, they were giving all annual pass holders, even the ones that have the classic annual passes, free photo pass for the week. Did anybody else see that?
I don't know. I've been taking advantage of photo pass.
Yeah, but like the ones that haven't expired yet and had to renew at the higher levels don't have that. But I was reading that they were giving that for like the 1 week, they were giving that to annual pass holders. So I could be wrong.
That was nice.
Yeah, I don't know. It may have just been for the week, but it's worth asking about.
It wouldn't hurt.
Yeah.
The one thing I do like is over in the Blue Sky Cellar, they have those charging stations, and I mentioned it for the annual pass holders. Mm-hmm. So I went back again just to see. They have 4 tables with 6 plugs each and 2 USB ports on each table.
Nice.
So I thought that was really nice. So if you don't have a plug, because I heard somebody on the tram complaining about not having USB ports, so I thought I'm going to go check it out just to make sure. So each table has 2 USB ports and 6 plugs.
Nice.
And so I'm hoping that after this is over, that they'll keep that there for the annual pass holders.
Mm-hmm. They need to do something better with that building, but yeah.
Well, I mean, right now I really like it because they're helping with the Disneyland app. They're really pushing people to use it, and they helped me. I sync my annual pass to it and photo pass to it. So now when I go, I wasn't using it before, but now I'm using it when I go over there when the signal is working.
Yeah.
And it's great for seeing what the time wait is for all the attractions, what characters are out, and other things. I'm really liking it. So I do recommend people downloading the Disneyland.
It's phase 1 of their evil plan to bring magic bands to Disneyland.
No, say it isn't so.
Well, it would be cool if it was. Maybe if we could do I don't know.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens because even Shanghai's not using magic bands. So
interesting.
Yeah. Did you have any other housekeeping?
Yeah, I have a couple.
She has mine.
Still a couple. Okay.
Yeah, still a couple. I went to the tour book because I've been going every weekend because it's been so nice over at Disneyland. Yeah. So I went over to the tour booth today, to the tour guide kiosk, and asked them what tours they have going on right now. And they told me that both Cultivating the Magic tour, which was the one about all the horticulture.
That's a good tour.
That's a great tour. And Discover the Magic are both on hiatus now while they do the construction.
Oh.
So
where did Cultivating go that is not there right now?
They probably, I'm trying to think, they probably took you back maybe along the...
I thought you went on that one, no?
I did go on it, but it's been a while. I have to read my blog.
They took you up, I know, by a Big Thunder Trail. You went
That's
up along
what
there.
I was trying to say.
Because I went on that one too. 'Cause you looked at the cactus and all that kind of stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that would be one that would really interest you, Michael. I'm glad you went on it.
I did it. Yeah, it's great. I would do it again.
Yeah, that one I recommend. And Discover the Magic is on hiatus too because it
went to
for
Tom
the
Sawyer
area,
Island.
maybe the train.
It went to Tom Sawyer Island.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah, because remember we were wondering where they would go to since they weren't going to go on Tom Sawyer Island. Well, they just said, you know what, let's just
not go anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. So the tours they do have are Welcome to Disneyland, Walk in Walt's Footsteps, and of course the California Story.
Yeah.
So there's 3 tours at Disneyland, as well as the little ones that they have at the hotels and stuff like that, and Carthay Circle.
Yeah.
And then my last one is I wanted to give some more feedback on the Toy Story parking lot. Last week I was really frustrated because there was no way that they were going to let me park at the Mickey and Friends, and I had to go to Toy Story. So I ended up walking from the farthest point in Toy Story parking lot to Disneyland Resort, which was fine. It actually ended up being fine. So now that I've been broken in, I parked there Saturday evening, and I got the Woody section, and it was I thought it was very convenient. So coming back, the line switched back, and it kind of went around that little railing that won't let people go into the street.
Right.
And so when I got there, it was 9:30 p.m. And from 9:30 p.m. to go through that long line, take the bus back to the parking lot, I was at my car by 9:57. So it was like 25 minutes or less to get from a very crowded evening from Disneyland to the Toy Story parking lot. So I was just letting people know, don't worry about it if you see these long lines, and don't get freaked out, because especially in the evening, Disneyland's going to make sure.
And it's one line, whereas if you head over to the trams on the other side, it's multiple line. It's crowd rule.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just a little, it's kind of like Pirates of the Caribbean. You think it's going to take forever, but it goes quickly because of the loading and stuff. So, and then since I was there by myself, they were saying, is anybody willing to get on the bus and stand? And I said, I'll do it. And so I got up there, and kudos, this nice young man, he was there with his family, offered me his seat.
Aww.
So nice. And I told him thank you, but no thank you. And he said that his mama raised him to be polite. So it was cute. And it made me laugh because in the past, if somebody had offered their seat, I was like, I'm too young. I don't need your seat. And then now I'm like, I'm so appreciative. I'm like, thank you so much. But the ride was so short, I didn't need to go on it. So those are all my housekeeping.
Oh, okay. Phew. And thank you for listening. Anybody else have
right? You'd think she was me or something.
I know, right? Anybody else have anything? Michael, you got anything?
No.
Okay. Nancy? No, you
I think we're ready to move on.
I've been buried in elementary variety show costumes, but I'm turning a child into Wendy this week.
Wow, cool.
On a Disney theme, so.
All right, before we move on to news, let's talk with Frank and Brian, who graciously agreed to join us tonight. And Frank and Brian were mentioned this week on the Universal show. They emailed Craig and said, hey, we've been to Wizarding World, and here's our thoughts about it. I'm like, okay, since we have a microphone, let's get Brian and Frank on, and we don't have to worry about all that video stuff. So welcome, guys.
Hello. Thank you for inviting us.
Hey, yeah. So between the two of you, you've been, 23 times?
I've been in 4 times now.
4 times, okay.
And I've been in 3.
Okay, and again, we're talking about Wizarding World of Harry Potter over at Universal Studios Hollywood.
Yes.
That is in soft open off and on now since, a week or so ago?
Since the 12th.
Okay, cool. Initial thoughts. You've experienced the Florida version as well, right?
Yes, we have.
Okay,
Yeah.
Well, I know you were at Disneyland, but I don't know if you had... I'm assuming you had experienced it. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. We've been a couple times.
So, give us, the basics, your thoughts.
It's Hogsmeade that they have in Islands of Adventure.
Right.
And it's awesome.
Yay, so glad to hear this.
It's really, really awesome. When you enter, it's laid out almost exactly the same as Florida. There was a bit of a debate, but we finally did realize in our pictures that the castle is closer. So it's a little bigger here than it is in Florida.
Wow.
It's got everything. It's got butterbeer. It's got
right now they have frozen and they have the regular butterbeer, and we've heard that they're going to get the hot, but they don't have that yet.
Okay.
And it's got the Forbidden Journey ride. Our version is in 3D.
Okay.
Which Orlando does not have yet, but the rumor is they're going to be getting it. The 3D really doesn't add all that much to the ride.
Any issue keeping the glasses on with the...
I haven't had any trouble with it, but the glasses that they're handing out right now are the Transformer glasses that you get.
Okay.
So they're not themed in any way, and...
Yeah, the Quidditch goggles haven't happened yet.
Yeah. So...
They're probably in delay in production.
Probably.
This soft opening.
Those.
This soft opening is really far in advance of when
it's scheduled to open. What, April 7th?
April 7th.
Yeah, and this is
And when I went on the 12th, which was the first day of soft opening, and I was just expecting, the ride might not be working, but I can at least walk around the land. Everything was open. Forbidden Journey was working. Flight of the Hippogriff was running.
Wow.
Even the Three Broomsticks restaurant was serving its full menu.
Wow.
And it's, the Three Broomsticks is almost an identical copy to Orlando's inside. Outside, the seating area of ours is a little bigger because more people will want to sit outside than they will in Florida in July. Ours sits that patio area kind of butts up against Springfield and the tram tour entrance. So there are certain areas of that where you can hear Springfield and the tram announcements. So that's a little weird.
And so the Florida for land is a lot more immersive. You feel like you've actually transported to Hogsmeade. But here there's the sound and there's certain sight lines that remind you that you're in a theme park.
Do you think that there's any chance of them changing that, or are we going to be...
I have to say, for the sounds, the only place that you can hear outside is the patio of Three Broomsticks. When you're in the land itself and you're walking up the road and you're going towards the castle, you just hear Harry Potter. They did an amazing job of blocking the sound from the outside. What won't change, however, though, is when you approach the castle, you can see an office building behind it.
And you'll never be able to get rid of that just because.
Yeah. Right behind the stage where they do the Frog Choir is the Shrek show building. That's not so bad because it's just a white building. I don't even think a lot of people would notice it. But there are other areas as you move further into the land and look to your right. Like you can see the Hilton Hotel. You can see some of the backlot of Universal Studios.
And that's why Anaheim has a rule against tall buildings, right?
Yeah. Now, for me, that's the only drawback. And I got used to it very quickly. Other than that, it's amazing.
And you can't help certain tall buildings there because of the fact that you've got hills and hills and valleys and
exactly.
You have to take a freaking escalator to get down to the back lot.
Yes. You have to take 4 freaking escalators to get down the back lot.
Yeah, that's true.
And so there's Forbidden Journey, and then there's also Dual Dragon's Challenge, right?
No, Hippogriff. The Flight of the
Hippogriff. Yeah.
Okay, so Flight of the Hippogriff, is that like a roller coaster?
Yes, it's kind of like a little kiddie roller coaster.
Okay.
It's a little more elaborate than Gadget Go Coaster in Toontown.
Okay.
It's a fun roller coaster, but never wait over half an hour for it.
It's 47 seconds long.
Yeah. Wow. However, it has amazing views. It's the only place in the land where, when you get to the top peak of the roller coaster, you can see Hogwarts Castle, and behind the castle is the entire San Fernando Valley. And that's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's just really, really cool to see that view.
Zoe will ride that with you, Mary Jo. No problem. Zoe loves Flight of the Hippogriff in Orlando, so...
And
then Forbidden Journey, is that like the one at Islands of Adventure? Or
yes. Yes,
exactly
that's the one
like
inside the castle. Yes. Except it's in 3D. They're still tweaking it. So because the film is in 3D, they've had to lighten everything because 3D makes the film
When you wear
darker.
the 3D glasses, it darkens everything.
So they have to lighten things up, and they're still tweaking those levels because there are still points where you can see the ceiling or see a wall.
Yeah.
But every time that we've been on it, it's a little different. So they're really working on that hard to make it better.
And there are 3 3D effects that really work well. The rest adds some depth, gives you a little bit more feeling of flight, so it's nice. I don't want to give exactly those parts away because I don't want people to be worried about that. So it is enhanced, but the lighting in the whole practical sets is enhanced. So you can see a lot more detail in the observatory. If you've been on it, there's a dragon and there's a bridge that it's kind of breaking through. And you can see down the bridge on that where it was just the front of the bridge in Florida.
Wow. It's very cool.
That's kind of cool.
It's very cool. The force perspective is amazing in that one little scene.
Yes. And there seem to be more Dementors. Now, I talked to Craig, who's on the Diz Universal, and he says they've always been there, but it's so dark in Florida you don't see them, but we can see them here, and I counted 16 practical Dementors.
Wow. I don't remember ever seeing that many in Florida.
It was amazing. It was wonderful. It was scary. It was great.
Another difference is because you're wearing 3D glasses, they don't take your photograph. So there's no ride photo.
Okay.
For this, which I'm fine with.
Yeah, that's not a deal breaker.
Yeah, and it also comes in when it's really dark, so they flash you, and it's like, wow, wait, what? And then when you exit into Filch's, there's no counter to buy photographs. They're just normal registers now.
Okay.
But I do want to mention about the Forbidden Journey seats. In Florida's, they've expanded the 2 outside seats for larger guests, and I'm 6'3" and 200 pounds, so I always have to be on the outside, and I have to remind them when I go up there, I got to fit into the outside seats. Here, we've talked to team members, and I did sit in the other seats, so they've all been expanded for the larger guests.
Oh. Well, that was such a huge issue originally in the opening.
I remember that we were worried before we went the first time. But by the time we went the first time, they had expanded the outer 2 seats.
Right. And they do have test seats. Oh, go ahead, Michael.
No, if you're still talking about seats, go on.
In front of the Forbidden Journey, they had the test seats. But they changed it a little bit and made it a little more discreet, which is great. They're not just facing out so everybody can see you. They turned them 90 degrees, so you just have to go a little bit further in. It's pretty much right where it is in Florida. But then you're facing a different way, so not everyone's watching you as they see if you can fit into the seat. And I thought that was really nice. So you don't feel like you're on display, and if you don't fit, you're not as embarrassed. It's handled well.
I was wondering, in terms of size of the whole land, is it comparable to the one in Orlando, or is it smaller, larger?
To me, it seems pretty much the same size.
And to me, it feels smaller. It's a little shorter, a little less deep.
But you don't.
So the curve's a little bit sharper when you curve from when you first walk in to go to the where they have frog choir.
It is positioned a little differently. Flight of the Hippogriff is pushed back a little further. So now Forbidden Journey and Flight of the Hippogriff are kind of right across from each other.
Well, and that makes sense because you don't have to worry about the other attraction.
Well, they could put it where they wanted to here, whereas in Orlando it was already there. They just had to work around it.
And but other than that, like when you walk into the land, you still have Honeydukes on the left. The Hogwarts Express is on your right. Oh, a big difference is since we do not have the Dragon Challenge roller coaster, we don't need those lockers that are right there next to the Hogwarts Express. What they've put in there instead is a photo opportunity. So when you go into that little building, they have one of the cabins of the Hogwarts Express sitting there, and the window is a green screen. So you can sit in the seats, and they give you scarves and wands if you need them.
If you didn't bring your own.
If you didn't bring your own, yeah. And yes, I do have a full set. And they'll take your photo, and then when you go to look at your photo, the green screen they can fill with 3 separate images, whichever one you prefer. One's a shot of Hogwarts off in the distance. One is a shot of Dementors approaching the train. And then the third one is the Ford Anglia flying across the lake. Cool. So you can pick one of those 3 for your photo. And that, I believe, was $24.95.
Speaking of wands, is Ollivander's?
Yes, Ollivander's is there. Our Ollivander's is on the opposite side of the street than Florida's.
Okay.
And they did that because they had a little bit more room now. Okay. So
did I hear that they increased the size of it?
Yes.
Okay.
There's only one Ollivander's.
Like there's only one Mickey Mouse. Yes.
Exactly. But sometimes the magical door will open on the left, and sometimes the magical door will open on the right. And that will lead you in, and there the wand master will pick a person, and it's similar to Florida's. And then at the end of the show, you then exit out right into the main Ollivander's store. Which, since it's now on the opposite side, that's not the Owl Post or the new room that they built behind Morgan and Burke's in Florida. So we have a dedicated Ollivander's shop like they do in Diagon Alley.
Just a bit smaller. It's not as big.
Yeah, yes, it is smaller, but it's nice to have a bit more room when you're searching for a wand in Hogsmeade.
That's something you almost never hear people say.
Have
you tried, other than the butterbeer, have you tried any of the other food?
Yes.
Okay.
We've eaten at Three Broomsticks each time we went. We've eaten the fish and chips. We've eaten, they call it the roast, which is actually prime rib.
Mm-hmm.
Which, for theme park
prime rib, yeah.
Prime rib, it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was very flavorful, a little bit on the greasy side, the one that I had.
Yeah.
But it was flavorful and pretty good. I was surprised for a counter service kind of thing in a theme park. It was definitely worth it.
Shepherd's pie.
I liked the shepherd's pie in Orlando. That was really good.
This had a lot of pepper. Boy, this one had a kick. Then, Frank, what did you have?
How are the bangers?
Stew. They had the Guinness stew, which is really good.
We haven't tried the bangers yet.
I heard the bangers were extremely good.
We saw a couple people with them, and they looked really good. And Frank was also noticing today, because we were in today, the salads. Do you want to tell them about the salads, Frank?
I was very impressed. I think they were very large because I've had salads with some of the shepherd's pie. They come with a little salad in Diagon Alley. This was probably twice as much salad as you get there. It was just like, okay, they're probably going to narrow this down a bit, the more they feed people. But it was a great salad. I saw one person had just the salad, and it looked huge. They had cucumbers lining around the sides, a bell pepper in the center with some stuff coming out of it, almost like a volcano. It just presented very nicely.
And even, I had a side salad with the shepherd's pie, and Frank had a side salad with his lunch today, with his stew. They were different. Like I had carrots and cucumbers, and he didn't. So they're really
I had roasted tomatoes, and he had plain cold tomatoes. So
there's a lot of thought going into all of this.
Very cool.
Well, taking it back to wands, did you guys have you guys previously purchased a wand, and did you try the windows?
Yes.
That's the short answer.
Yeah.
I did not have an interactive wand, so I went for an interactive one, and I tried a couple different ones, and they do feel different.
Oh, that's our dog.
And it was the same type. I got an oak, and I tried a couple of them, and they were weighted different, and they really did feel not the same. I thought all of the one type would be identical, and it isn't. So try a few wands if you really want to find one. If you like the look of it and you're not sure of the weight, open up another box and try it.
And he found a wand that worked, so he purchased that, and we did try most of the windows. And there are more windows in our Hogsmeade than there are in Florida's Hogsmeade. Which is good because we don't have Diagon Alley.
Yeah.
And a couple different ones that don't have any counterpart in Florida. And,
cool.
Frank was really good at spells.
Oh, very good.
I do want to mention one other thing about the Hippogriff, Flight of the Hippogriff. They changed the seating, and they do have a test seat outside. But they added shin guards, similar to the Mummy Ride here or Gringotts in Florida.
Okay.
So I don't know really why, but I guess just because it's going to have young kids on there, they want to be sure they're secure.
Yeah.
But for a tall person, it's not comfortable. It bends your leg back, and I could not put my heel down. It was like, I feel sorry for women because it was like I was having high heels the whole time, and I couldn't relax it.
A lot of the new ones are doing that because I think Twisted Colossus has that now too, where it holds your legs in place.
And it's just odd because it's not holding your legs in the proper place.
Yeah.
But I guess we're just too tall. We're adults, so I think if kids, it might stop them from kicking or swinging and feel a little more secure.
Yeah.
But there's a problem with it that it sticks out when the restraint goes up, when you exit. It just comes out like a little bubble, and it hit Brian's knee hit it on the way out.
Yeah.
So just to watch out for that when you're trying to get out. You don't see it when the restraint is down on your lap. It's when you come up, it just sticks out a little bit down near the shin or knee.
Of course, it didn't stop me from going on it a dozen more times, but still.
All right. Any last thoughts?
It's really amazing.
Okay.
If you're local, see if you can go. It's a soft opening, so they do not guarantee that anything will be open. On Friday, they didn't open up the land until 3 p.m. Yesterday, they closed the land at 3 p.m. So you never know exactly when it's going to be open. But if you're local, go before April 7th. Because I think afterwards it's going to be really busy.
When do the AP previews start? Because you don't want to go then because it's just going to be annual. Right now, anybody can get in.
They did send us one email saying that, if you buy a new annual pass or a season pass, you'll have the opportunity to attend the annual pass, but they haven't given any more details to that.
Okay.
I think they're going to wait because they completely restructured their annual pass program recently, and all of the previous annual passes expire either the end of February, or some of us have ones that go through like the middle of March.
Okay, so then
they might wait for that.
They'll wait for okay. So we might have a couple weeks of soft openings at least.
Yeah, I think they're going to push you purchasing an annual pass.
Right.
So
awesome.
But I think this whole soft opening thing that Universal is doing has been brilliant. They really are. We had blackout dates in February with our annual passes. They lifted all of them.
Wow.
They sent a blanket email to everybody that said there are no blackout dates in February. And then a week or two later, they started these soft openings. And so I think what they're doing is they're crowd management. They're, AP people are going to go now to pull people off of April 7th. Mm-hmm. So, and I think it's brilliant. I think it's going to work.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I think
brilliant. I need to go.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Oh,
so
yeah.
good.
We all do.
And I've never read any of the books, and I've seen one of the movies, but yeah.
Oh, shame on you, you little heretic.
we can still be friends, I suppose.
All right,
but
I don't know about that's almost a deal breaker for me.
Oh, darn. Okay.
One last note I'd like to say
Good, Frank.
is the way that helped me when I can see the sight lines, I can see the Simpsons, the animal actor stage from inside Hogsmeade, is Universal Studios as Hollywood has always been a working set. I grew up that way. I grew up out here.
Yeah.
And so I think of it as a real practical hot set. Yeah. We can shoot from many angles. They can put in matte paintings or computer skyline. And so that works for Hollywood.
Yeah.
Since it's not as immersive, it's like, oh, cool. We're in the movie now.
Exactly. You're in the movie Harry Potter.
The movie making process.
I like your perspective.
Yeah, he said that one day when we were in the middle of it, and it was like, I feel so much better now.
And I remember going to Universal Studio Orlando when it first opened in 89. Right around 1989 we went, and I remember walking in there going, I've seen pictures of Universal Studio Hollywood. I went with the expectation it was going to be like Universal Studios Hollywood, even though I'd never been there.
Right. And
I was so disappointed that it was basically another Disney, effectively, and how they ran things. And I was like, boy. And I mean, that was when the only thing they did, they were filming there, but the only thing they were filming was Nickelodeon stuff on that little tiny soundstage off to the side, and that was all you really got in your little backlot tram tour.
Yeah, and it's very much a theme park through and through.
In Florida.
Yeah, in Florida. And here, we're still, a major motion picture studio plus the theme park.
I have actually been in one of those little golf carts, not to brag or anything, but I've actually... A girlfriend of mine used to be the personal assistant to Angela Lansbury, and I would go visit her at the studio for lunch sometimes, and we would take the Corey Moore Productions golf cart around, and we would always have people on the trams like leaning out, trying to ogle to see if we were anybody important.
I work in one of the studios as well, and sometimes we have fun walking around the lot going, well, I was talking to Tom last week,
Well, you can say that. You were talking to Tom on the podcast.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I didn't say which Tom, but you just kind of have fun with that.
Nice.
It's too fun.
All right, excellent. Let's head on to the news. Since Tony's not here, I have this week's news.
Do we have anything exciting in news?
Not really, no. SeaWorld San Diego has announced a new aquarium-based attraction that will include 5 rides, including a submarine ride that will travel throughout the 3-acre area. So this sounds not like an attraction, but a huge conglomeration of attractions and aquariums and things like that. It's called Ocean Explorer, and it will give visitors a close-up view of octopuses, octopi, whatever it is, spider crabs, and lots of jellyfish. Speaking of jellyfish, one of the other planned rides is a wave swinger that's made to look like a jellyfish, and the suspended chairs will look like the tentacles. And just to make things a little more interesting, you'll fly through bubbles.
Cool.
Do you get stung like you do with jellyfish?
That's the bubbles, yes. If they hit your eyes, yes. The area will have a research feel with undersea research pods, with interactive displays, informational graphics, things like that. So that's kind of cool. Bad news, even this needs the approval of the California Coastal Commission. So construction has not started. They are hoping to open this late next spring. So not a lot of information out yet, but SeaWorld needs all the good press they can get. In a related story, SeaWorld Entertainment announced that they are making changes to leadership. including promoting the San Diego Park president John Riley to a position overseeing the company's 11 theme parks. In addition, they're replacing their chief parks operations and zoological officers and installing a new head at the San Antonio SeaWorld Park. So, let's see. The retiring Daniel B. Brown is retiring. He's the chief parks operations officer. He's being replaced with John Riley, who is the San Diego Park president. Let's see. Christopher Dold, who's currently the vice president of vet services, has been promoted to chief zoological officer, and he's replacing Brad Andrews, who will become the zoological director emeritus. Let's see. Replacing Riley. Replacing Riley as president of both SeaWorld and Aquatica will be Marilyn Hannes, Hannes, I don't know how to pronounce that, who is currently, get this, vice president of global sales. She has served a number of roles since joining the company in 1997, including vice president of marketing and sales for the company's California parks. Don't know why they would put somebody in sales in charge of a park, but that's just me. Finally, in a move to advance its new resort strategy, SeaWorld hired hospitality veteran Steve Iandolo as vice president of resort development. I guess SeaWorld is working with the Evans Hotel Group to develop a SeaWorld branded resort hotel on Mission Bay. So they're trying to expand the San Diego resort with the hotel as well. So, any thoughts on either of those stories? That's what I thought. Okay, yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's certainly a good step. I mean, that they're trying really hard to put an investment back into the park and save the investment they already have, as opposed to tanking the whole thing.
Right, exactly.
So at least people will be able to keep their jobs.
Yep, agreed.
All right, let's head to our next story, and there will be lots of talk on lists, so hopefully. So I'm going to keep the story brief. Labor hours at Walt Disney World and Disneyland may be affected by budget issues at Shanghai Disney. Shanghai Disney is over their projected budget and behind schedule, so cast members at the U.S. Disney parks may be seeing a reduction in their hours to save money in the parks division of the company. Allegedly, the cuts have already started at Disneyland and will be coming to Walt Disney World. California Theme Park has had a 20% reduction in labor costs in attractions, guest relations, custodial, and more. Some departments, such as front desk and concierge, are only allowing workers or cast members 32 hours per week after the changes. Of course, there is no official information or a statement from Disney about these cuts discussed.
Well, I have heard that they've already started layoffs in Florida, and I know cast members I know have not been able to get full-time schedules for a while. Also, Hong Kong Disneyland's already been affected by Shanghai. They've had a loss and a drop in attendance. Some of that is due to the weakness in their currency, but they've only been profitable for a couple of years.
Well, and there's people are just waiting and going to go to Shanghai instead of going to Hong Kong. Yeah.
Yeah, and ironically, even though Shanghai is larger, it is cheaper than the tickets at Hong Kong Disneyland.
Is it because of the real estate, do you think?
I don't know, or its location. I'm not too sure.
This reminds me when they were building DCA and they kept cutting back on DCA when they were doing Tokyo Seas, and then they had to put in all this money back into DCA to bring it up. So it didn't seem like they really learned cutting it, for some things.
Well,
you're going to have to pay for it in the long run.
Wasn't the first time we really saw cuts in guest services based professions when they built Disneyland Paris and had all those issues with the union, and were in the red for so long with Disneyland Paris construction.
Yeah, there was, and even a few years after it opened, when they couldn't fill the hotels.
Yeah,
I remember that.
So
I was
it's not something we haven't seen before.
Yeah, they just don't seem to learn their lesson.
Well, no company ever seems to learn their lesson when they dump all their finances into a project and then the project starts going south.
The thing is,
what are you supposed to do?
What gets me is, Shanghai is delayed and over budget. That can't be a surprise to Disney. Of course it is. It's Shanghai.
Well, everybody's trying to cut their budgets so tight and work with as little as they possibly can.
That's true, yeah.
So, and that's just a corporate business trend around the world.
Yet they put the guy who's in charge of Shanghai in charge of Imagineering.
Yeah. I think that'll change.
Well, that's because of his creative background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, because you have to...
Shanghai looks amazing.
Yeah, you have to admit the projects he worked on have been extraordinary.
Over budget and late, but extraordinary.
Well, just don't put him in charge of the budget, but the Imagineering and the creativity, that's good.
Yeah. All right. Anything else in the news? Let's head over to Rapid Fire. Let's start with Michael.
All right. Well, I have a couple, and that are somewhat related.
We think anyway, right?
Well, it would seem to be. For the past few years, Disneyland guests have enjoyed all the splendiferous wonders of the Mad Tea Party, from the White Rabbit's mega mix of muchness to the most amazing and talented band this side of Wonderland. This stuff just writes itself. Well, Wonderlanders, the Mad Tea Party will be serving up its final cup of curiosities at Disney California Adventure on March 30th. So all of you Mad Tea Party fans out there, you'll want to make plans to join Tweedledee and Tweedledum for one last spot of tea. So the Mad Tea Party will be open on weekends through March 13th, and then nightly March 18th through the 30th.
Oh, for the Easter season or the spring break season.
Right. So, but don't lose heart, because Disneylanders who have been around the hub a few times, you might remember the Disney California Adventure Food and Wine Festival, and we've talked about it on the show quite a few times.
We have great memories from that.
Yes, it was started in an effort to increase attendance at the then struggling Disney's California Adventure. Although not to the scale of Epcot's Food and Wine Festival. I know Carol and I really enjoyed attending it. Mm-hmm. And due to the heavy construction of the reimagining of Disney California Adventure, the Food and Wine Festival was canceled in 2010, to our disappointment. Well, I am delighted to tell you that Disney California Adventure will soon be filled with even more fabulous food and an awakening of the senses when Disney California Adventure hosts their Food and Wine Festival once again. And that begins April 1st, the day after the Mad Tea Party clears its table. So this month-long festival, which will take place during weekends in April, will celebrate some of the best of California cuisine. A distinguishing feature will be new festival marketplaces, where guests can dip and savor delicious flavors from throughout the state of California. So remember how previously the food was in existing restaurants and counter service restaurants. I'm wondering if they're going more the route of Epcot, where they're going to have more freestanding booths for the food.
I don't know that they can. That was part of the issue. I think was the health codes in California are different than.
Yeah, they're really strict in California. But when I was there on Saturday, the lady that sells the frozen bracelets and stuff over by the Mad Tea Party, she was telling me that what is it? The Odin's shop kiosk, is that his name?
Wandering Oaken. She said that's going to be closed during the food and wine. So I'm thinking that
they're turning that, or I think they're turning that into one of the kiosks for food and wine.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I think that's what she said, and she didn't know if he was going to come back after food and wine.
Now, maybe one of the reasons Mad Tea Party is going away is because they're going to use that area more extensively for...
But they may also use, like, Stage 17.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be great.
And those are that's the one on the back end, right, that Mad Tea Party used?
No, that's Millionaire Stage.
Oh, yeah. The Anna and Elsa stage.
Yeah, remember when we went to
Frozen Festival? Frozen
it was
Festival.
The playground, the Frozen playground, and meat.
Yeah, Frozen Festival.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm thinking that would probably be one of the ones. Remember when last time we went, and what you're thinking of, Nancy, what used to be the food court when California Adventure first opened, and they had different types of food that you could try, and a bunch of us went in there. I think, Tom, you were there. And some others and we were there, and we had samples of like sliders and other food that they sold at a nominal charge.
But I think
they had the freestyle Coke machine in there during food and wine, and they had an exhibit area as well.
And isn't when the exhibit area is that I think where John Lasseter was talking about his wines?
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember that, and then they had the wine tasting where we kind of meandered through for the wine tasting.
Mm-hmm.
That was really nice. And then where they have the beer tasting now, or the outdoor seating area for the trattoria, they had and I went to one of these, and what they did is they had different chefs make breakfast, and you watched them cook, and then you got to taste what they made.
Nice.
So
but aren't they using that restaurant back in Hollywoodland for something else now? It isn't like the bakery or...
It was a rehearsal stage for a really long time.
Okay. I thought they were using it for something else.
Remember they had after
other than the front part of it,
they opened it up.
They were using it for arcade for a while, but just the front half of it.
Right, and they had it closed off on the left side and the back for rehearsal stage.
Okay.
Well, the Disney California Adventure Food and Wine Festival will also include culinary demonstrations, appearances by celebrity chefs, and informative seminars. So Disney's going to be releasing additional information soon, including how you can reserve your seats at the premium experiences taking place during the festival. So, so be sure to come on out to Disneyland on weekends beginning April 1st and keep listening to the Disneyland podcast for updates, and bon appetit.
I'm sure we're probably, Tony and a few of us will probably go out and eat like freaks at some point.
All right. Nancy.
Okay, so everybody's seen this on their Facebook feed. I know they have. Hashtag share your ears. Hashtagging share your ears helps Make-A-Wish Foundation. So, of course, in celebration of, our diamond celebration that never ends, Disney Parks will donate $5 to Make-A-Wish up to $1 million for every ear photo you share on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter with the hashtags, and that's very important, hashtag share your ears, EARS. And you can make up those ears
as
however
opposed to the other way you spell ears, but yeah. Okay.
Well, ears is in Mouseketeers with E's. Anyway, so they want us, cool ears, funny ears, Mickey Mouse ears. They want to see them all. That's what they say. So Make-A-Wish, everybody's heard of the Make-A-Wish Foundation, granting more than 100,000 wishes for children with life-threatening medical conditions all over the United States. They do all sorts. In fact, our favorite folks that give kids the world work a lot with the Make-A-Wish Foundation to help grant those wishes. So from now until March 14th, share
my birthday.
Oh, happy early birthday, Mary Jo. And you can learn more at shareyourears.org.
Very cool. Thank you, Nancy. I will go next. I stole this one from Mary Jo, right from under her nose. Podcast favorite Tortilla Joe's has introduced a new weekend brunch. For $14, you get your choice of entree, and some of those include chilaquiles, machaca con huevos chile relleno. That's got like everything in it. Roasted pork torta, and then of course you Americans can have pancakes or huevos americanos. So that's eggs with potatoes and toast, probably. Plus, you get fresh fruit for the table, and a selection of Mexican desserts such as churros or mini apple chimichangas. And this one was really for Mary Jo. For an extra $10, you can add an hour's worth of bottomless mimosas.
I would share them with you guys.
Yeah.
It actually sounds very yummy.
It does sound good.
Brunch is, and of course they have other brunch-inspired cocktails as well. Brunch is now served Saturdays and Sundays from 9 a.m. to noon. Just started this weekend, so now I'm hungry. Thanks. Okay. But $14 for brunch is not all that. It's not a buffet. It's just a single entree, but then you get the fruit and the dessert, so it's not bad. Not bad.
I think, especially for the Disneyland parks, I think that's pretty decent.
Yeah. Yep. All right, Mary Jo.
Well, beginning this Friday, new Pirates of the Caribbean character Tsum Tsums will be sold. If for anybody who might not know what Tsum Tsums are, they're the little roly-poly Disney stuffed figures that are the latest collectibles, I think.
They're also a little game app for your smartphone.
Okay, so the kids could.
Yeah, my daughters are totally into them.
Oh
Last
yeah, Kelly.
week it was Star Wars, but this is exciting now.
Oh yeah, Kelly loves them too. But there's going to be 7 Pirates of the Caribbean Tsum Tsums, including a pirate, a skeleton, a pig, parrot, a captain,
pig?
And
Oh yeah, pig. Yeah, okay, got it.
And among my favorites are the redhead, because everybody's going to watch the redhead, and the dog, complete with keys hanging out of his mouth. So
yeah, those
cute.
are pretty darn cute.
Oh yeah, and at the Disneyland, go ahead. Nancy.
The main pirate looks a lot like Captain Jack Sparrow.
How ironic!
I know, right?
At the Disneyland Resort, you can get these at the World of Disney in downtown Disney District, the Paradise Pier in California Adventure in the Tees, Hats, and Tattoo Shop, Mickey's Toontown in the Disneyland Park at the Gag Factory.
They moved them into the park now?
Mm-hmm.
Shock. They have not put them into the parks before. Because we collect those and we have to stop by. You've been with us when we've had to stop by World of Disney to get our Tsum Tsums.
Right, but this is, I don't know how often you go to the Gag Factory in Toontown. Because that's the only store that sells it at Disneyland Park right now.
Well, no, they always used to say the only place we have them is World of Disney because it's a Disney store. They started out as a Disney store product, and because the World of Disney is business unit attached to the Disney stores, sort of. There's a weird contractual thing that they can have some similar products.
Oh, well, they're allowing them in the parks now, so that's awesome.
So. Because this is obviously a park line. I wonder if they started that with the little theme park, the theme park ride vehicle Tsum Tsums. Because I don't think we ever talked about them on the show, but there's also a little line where there's like Dumbo and the Log Flim Log, and the rocket ships. There's one of the rocket ships, and
that's pretty cool.
They're very cute.
There's the double-decker bus, the fire engine. Sorry.
But a lot of people collect them. So, yeah, Kelly has...
Are they affordable?
Yes. World of Disney has them 3 for $15.
Okay.
I think they're normally maybe $6.95.
Tiny. $5 for that?
Just don't let your cat or dog play with them.
I was just thinking our cats would love those things.
They're great. Yeah, pets love them. We've snatched a few from Paris's mouth every now and then.
Yeah, Kelly has hers piled up on the shelf. Anyway, they're new Tsum Tsum starting this Friday.
Very cool.
Yeah, and now one of our chat people is saying, it's just like doing keychains and pins, same kind of cheaper than pins.
True.
They're like the Beanie Babies.
Yes.
Yeah. That's kind of what I akined them to, and I kind of went, ever. Because I gave a whole box of those away at a garage sale.
Okay, thank you, Nate. Thank you, Mary Jo. Sorry, that was your rapid fire, huh?
Yes.
All right.
Really? Was it?
Yes.
Oh.
We should have all switched rapid fires, and it would have been so much easier. All right, thank you, folks. Brian, Frank, thank you for joining us tonight.
Well, thank you for inviting us.
Of course.
Hey, they don't have rapid fires? What gives?
I know
Yeah, their rapid fire was huge. It was all about studios.
I know,
The
there we
Wizarding World
go.
is in soft opening.
you were there, right? Okay, there you go. All right, for those of you listening live, be sure to stick around for Mary Jo's Day 6 adventure.
To Wizarding World?
Yes, exactly.
We all have to go on Pottermore before we go to Wizarding World and get sorted.
Ravenclaw.
I was wondering which ones you guys were.
Ravenclaw.
I have a feeling I'll be a Hufflepuff.
Notice that there was
Hufflepuff are
no
the best.
hesitation. They
Knew exactly, yeah.
yeah, they
My
knew
my oldest daughter is a Ravenclaw and proud of it.
Absolutely. Because we're the best.
Nice. All right, that is going to do it for this segment of I'm getting out of this Diz Unplugged. Be sure to catch all of our other Diz Unplugged podcasts this week. And, of course, we will be back again with you next week. Until then, remember, Disneyland is always more magical when it's shared. Thanks for listening.